All right. Woo. All right. Give me a second. I'm waiting on Marcus to get started because I want to do a spaces too. Um, shit. I want to do a spaces as well, but I'm making sure Marcus gets in here first before I start as spaces on Twitter. For whatever reason, you have to pay for a Twitter premium subscription now to stream on Twitter as well as YouTube. So, un momento, por favor. BRB. What up? We're already live. I think I'm gonna do a spaces. I already said it because um they want you to pay on Twitter to stream there now.
Well,
I'm
sounds
like,
like something that Elon would do.
I'm like, bro, are you fucking kidding me right now? I'm like, what do you mean I have to pay? Have a premium subscription account on Twitter? I'm not paying for Twitter. Like that is just not happening. So I was like, so I do a damn spaces. Ugh. You
I'm
know
sure
how
it's possible.
I don't like spaces
I mean,
because
you could technically do a spaces, but I think you can save the spaces like it's recorded. So I don't know if you'd have to do it on StreamYard also.
I don't know. I'll create my space, but I just don't. When people be like, "Oh, I want to talk," because they like to talk over each other and stuff.
Well, I
Oh,
mean, yeah, I would just say just do the spaces and just be like, all right, well we're not having anybody, unless it's like like Breeze or somebody like someone that that knows how to
yeah,
kind of conversate on a podcast where it's like not just yelling over each other. So I'd
right.
just go with that route.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see how this goes. Now I'll end this space just so they can hear it. Cause I'm just like, what the fuck? Cause like every time I love do streaming from Streamyard, but on a Twitter, cause everybody they just like to look at it while they're scrolling, and no, nobody can do that. So I'm see. But anyways, hello. Did I do the intro already? Probably not. We're here to discuss receiver because I watched it and I really liked it. And football's back. And the Falcons, they just started doing stuff in training camp. And I don't want to do day by day goddamn recaps of training camp. I'm not even there to watch. So what am I going to recap? What people are saying? We'll just do a recap at the end of fucking training camp. Allegedly, it's going well. Per the little, not little, I'm sorry. That was demeaning. Per the reporters that are there, it's going pretty well. So we're back. Football's back. Marcus, how excited are you as a Falcons fan for football to be
All right, well here goes the lies and the slander again on my name. I am not a Falcons fan. I keep up with the Falcons because there's a lot of people that I know through social media that are Falcons fans. So I see a lot of Falcons stuff on my timeline. But no, I'm not a Falcons fan. But I think after this podcast, I think Falcons fans will be excited about being Falcons fans this year.
back? Okay. 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 So if y'all ain't watched Receiver, um, it's by Peyton Manning. He did the quarterback show already, where he had quarterbacks for what 2 seasons. Looked into the lives of quarterbacks.
It was
Well,
just one season.
it was 1 season.
Yep.
It felt like two. Well, 1 season looking into the lives of quarterbacks, and they had Mariota on there who did nothing, and we saw his production, what his production was, and what he did during his off-season preparation and during the season preparation were the same, obsolete. Now we're with the receivers, and it was great. I loved every second of this. So they followed them through the whole season. What was it, 2023? Yes,
Yeah, it was
2023.
last year.
Yep. And they follow like their home lives, any injuries, like what happens when they get injured, on the field, off the field, everything. And I love little behind the scenes shit. So this was great. We had on here what one, two. I took notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 receivers. I'm sorry, one tight end and 4 receivers. George Kittle, Debo Samuel, Arm. I'm trying to say it. Amon Ra St. Brown. I think I said it right. I hope I said it right. Justin Jefferson and Devontae Adams. Now, out of the 5 of these, there's only one I didn't know. That was Amon Ra St. Brown. I did not know he existed. But after this, I know who he is. I know his name. I know who he is. He is a beast. So, what we got? George Kittle and Debo Samuel, obviously on the 49ers. Uh, I keep on trying to say Armon Ra, but it's Amon Ra, right?
Sounds about right. I feel like if you say it wrong, it's racist. So you might want to tread carefully.
I'm trying my best. St. Brown, he's on the Lions. And we know who Justin Jefferson and Devontae Adams are. If you don't, then you've been fucking sleeping under a rock. But they follow the lives of them five right here. All them five. Well, who do we want to start with?
I think Justin Jefferson probably had the shortest season out of all of them, so I'll probably start with him.
All right. I got my notes, y'all. Justin Jefferson. First of all, I didn't know the man was so shy. I would have never guessed that he's actually shy and that he has an alternate personality. So, homeboy, Justin Jefferson, first of all, he's shy as fuck. He's got two personalities, he says. One, when he puts on them chains, he turns into Jets. And then when they're off, he's Justin. Okay? He lives in a townhouse. He's smart. His parents raised him right, not to spend all his money. He lives in a townhouse, which for some reason has been a big deal, like on the internet, in the news. Why? I don't know. Like, does every player have to have a big old mansion? Like, the man is smart.
I mean, to also be fair, he also lives in Minnesota. I don't know if you've been to Minnesota, but outside of the Mall of America, it's not the most poppin' city out there in America.
I have not been to Minnesota. I do want to go to the Mall of America. But, like, what's it
Yeah,
about mansion? Like, he's smart. His parents raised him right. How many siblings does he have again? Did I write that down? His parents are hilarious. Um, but his whole family is on the show. I love his parents are hilarious. I think he has. Does he have three or four brothers? Okay, I didn't write
I
that
believe
part
he
down.
has. I think he has two brothers, and one of them made the NFL.
Two brothers. He loves spending his money on jewelry, so that's pretty much where his house money goes to all that damn jewelry, and he plays in his chains. All that expensive jewelry he plays with during every game. And I don't know about you, but if I was guarding him, I'd be snatching them chains. I ain't even gonna lie to you, dog. I'm gonna snatch it and pocket that bad boy and sell it. Because why are you playing with all this jewelry, my guy?
If I was to kind of advise him, there's only been one situation where a receiver was out like wearing chains and the defensive back actively went for it. It was
Oh,
Aqib Talib going up against Michael Crabtree. Like he legitimately snatched his chain and threw it away. So
that was
yeah, I mean Justin
hilarious.
Justin is clearly better than Crabtree, but just be careful out there with all them chains, man. DBs don't like all that flashiness.
Man, he got on like three, four of them things at one time. It don't make no sense. But he plays for the Vikings, and obviously, you know, we now have the quarterback that was injured with an Achilles. So he had a rough season off of that. And he ended up getting injured himself. He was out for what, 3, 4 weeks?
He got injured a couple times that season.
It was like he was injured and then he came back and then he was injured again. But I really like dude. I knew he was like a beast, but I didn't know how much of a beast he was because I only saw his stats because I've just been paying attention to the Falcons. But this man is a fucking beast. Like he carries the Vikings almost all to his goddamn self. So,
I mean, when you
um,
look at his stats, like I think if he hadn't got hurt last year, he would be on a legitimately be on a Jerry Rice like career path because like I think for the first 3 or 4 years, he had like more catches, touchdowns, and yards than Randy Moss, and Randy Moss started his career like crazy. So, to be better than Randy Moss at that time, that early, that's a lot. That's a elite Hall of Fame level receiver.
Yeah, man, this man outdid everybody, they mama, daddy, and bald headed granny. I was like, he did what? What? Now that's personally because Kirk Cousins can actually throw the ball and get it to him, but after the catch, this man finds the yards after every single catch, and he obviously gets touchdowns. And I love that his mom encouraged his touchdown celebrations. She was like, "What are we doing? You need to do something better." And he alone, which I did not realize, who made what is this dance called? The gritty, is that what it's called?
Yeah, the
You know,
gritty.
I'm getting old. I'm getting old. The gritty. I didn't know he's the one that made it popular and popping. I was like, I thought, look, the kids were just doing it, and the kids just started doing it. No, this man started doing the damn gritty, and that is how this shit got popular. He's credited to New Orleans, or just Louisiana as a whole. Potato, Louisiana, that he got it from, and then he just hit it on the field, and it just went viral and took off, and that's why all of y'all's kids is doing it today, just off of him, and he does different versions of the gritty and all that stuff. Um,
It's kind of like when Cam Newton did the dab. Like it was a
oh,
known
oh yeah.
popular thing, but it kind of took off when Cam Newton started doing it. It kind of became like, oh, it became mainstream when Cam Newton started doing it, and I think that was the same thing that happened with Justin Jefferson and the gritty.
Oh, for sure. Because that thing is everywhere. And I didn't know where it came from. And all of a sudden, ta-da! He started doing it. And even little white kids are doing it. Everybody and their mama's doing it. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, yeah. So, Homeboy ended up tweaking his hamstring and had to go on injury reserve. And this was a bit upsetting to me because his injury this season, because he didn't get his contract done before the season started and then ended up getting injured. Granted, at the end, he did sign a very, very fat contract that I believe would have been fatter if he did not get injured. Should he
I
have signed his
mean,
contract, got his contract done before?
I don't know. It's hard to say how much he would have gotten had they figured out the contract situation during the season. But I feel like I said a little bit earlier, like Justin Jefferson was putting up Randy Moss numbers. So just the fact that he got hurt and missed a handful of
Man,
games towards the end doesn't really diminish who he is and what he's done. That's how I view it. I know in the NFL, they're likely to use that as leverage to be like, oh well, you can't stay healthy, and use that as an excuse to go cheap. But I think he would have got that deal even if he stayed healthy, because that was a pretty crazy deal that he got.
dog, that deal, highest paid non quarterback, right? I believe is what
Yeah,
they said.
he had the highest
Yeah, he signed a crazy
contract.
deal now. Yeah. Now I don't know if this is before or the signing was before or after Kirk left. I'm real curious about that, and that they just lobbed him all that money because Kirk left, and they were like, let's ink this before you also take off."
Yeah,
So I'm very curious
you
to
can't
know
let
that.
great players that are doing that leave the building. Like, especially after their rookie deal, like especially when they're young, there's no chance they were letting him get out of that building without getting a deal done.
Oh, for sure. And he's the best. I don't think I know any other Vikings wide receivers. Do they even exist? Did any other Vikings players exist besides, well, formerly Kirk Cousins
They had a rookie last year,
and JJ?
rookie wide receiver that played pretty well when JJ got hurt, but I don't know if that's a product of him becoming the number one guy and Justin Jefferson not being there. I'd like to see what those wide receivers look like with Justin Jefferson on the other side. I think it's like Addison something.
I don't know. Don't ask me. They didn't even talk about him this damn season. Um, so enough about JJ. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of him. Love him. He's to himself. He goes. He does his job, and he goes home. That's it. And his family is hilarious. They had me cracking up during this. Now, if you don't know who Devontae Adams is, I don't know what's wrong with you. He played for the Packers forever, and he was a beast with the Packers. Him and Rodgers just slinging the ball back and forth. That sounded wrong. They're slinging the ball back and forth. All right. He's now with the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, huh?
No, I was saying yes in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Now, when I saw a wife, I was like, mm, mm. Now, my black people out there, they know what I'm talking about. All right, y'all know. However, comma, they met in math class at Fresno State. Okay, and she said that he did her homework, her math homework, and took her math test because she was very bad at math. Okay, now she didn't pass the math class, but she said he helped her get from a F to a D. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a pass. I'm gonna give it a pass. Okay, y'all been together forever. Y'all met in math class. We're gonna give it a pass here. Okay. Okay. Man, Devontae Adams, I didn't know how well respected what he was among his peers, but all his peers love him. Everybody talked about him like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And arguably, when you look at the numbers and look at his play, he is a very, very, very great wide receiver. He's got a family. He's a girl dad. Okay. He loves his children's. Um, and he wants a ring really bad, and he couldn't do it with the Packers and Rodgers, even though he tried. But he wants a ring, and he wants it very, very bad. And he's very, very competitive. So I really enjoyed seeing his background because I like when players speak their minds, when they're mad about what's going on with their team. Because that way I know that you feel me. You know what I'm saying? Like we're on one page. You don't like it, I don't like it. And it's not what the Falcons give, which is political answers, instead of being like, I hate this shit. We need to do better with this, and that. It's always the same bullshit political answer. Like, tell me you're mad. Like, show me you're mad. You know what I'm saying? The Falcons don't do that. The players don't get to show that they're mad. I'm assuming that's because the front office doesn't want them to. So it's just like, are you just here for the check or what? Because us fans, we want to know like that you're just as mad as we are. That you're mad at losing that game. Like you don't have to say point the finger at who it is, but be mad. You know what I'm saying? And Adams, he showed when he was mad as fuck. Now, do your
Yeah, that I
Colts
think
be doing that?
I was about to say that was the thing that I liked most about his segments is how competitive and direct he was during
Yes.
the whole thing. Like he was just like, "Yo, I know, we're not going to win if I'm not getting the ball." And he's right about that. And it for a lot of fans and the media, I think mostly for the media, it comes off as being selfish, but when you look at how great he is and what he can do with the ball and how he affects defenses, it's like, no, he's just being honest. Like You got to get your best players the ball. The offense opens up when your best player is getting involved and has the ball. It's like that in every sport, in basketball, football, every position. No matter who your best player is, if that player is not involved, you can win a game or two, but that's not going to be sustainable and it's not going to help in, in the playoffs and in tight games.
Exactly. Like, bro, media was trying to crucify him, but it's like, no, for real. Like when he doesn't get the ball, look at what happens. When he does get the ball, look at what happens. And when you're playing correctly, which is what he would say a lot, like when everything is gelling correctly, when plays are being called correctly, when the game is being called the way it's supposed to, when everything's moving the way it's supposed to, then we will win. And guess what happened? They fired some head coach, then they got an interim head coach, and he didn't get the ball that much. But what they did was they changed stuff on the field and they started winning. And he was like, see, everything's going the way it's supposed to, and now we're winning games. He was like, the ball is eventually gonna come to me, but
Yeah, it is a
you know,
little bit of a double-edged sword for wide receivers because it's like, all right, you want me to go out there and not demand the ball and hope that we win the game, but when it's contract time, when it's off-season time, people are looking at how much money I'm making, and Devontae Adams makes a
mhm,
lot of money. People are going to look at his
mhm,
stats and say like, "Oh, well, you make all this money. How come you're not? How come you don't have 100 catches? How come you don't have 10 touchdowns?" And it's like, okay, I'm trying to put the team first and do all the other stuff, including catch the ball. But now you're complaining that I'm making too much money. So just throw me the ball. Like that's what he gets paid to do. He gets paid to make big plays,
mhm.
score touchdowns, get a bunch of yards, and obviously do blocking and all that other stuff. But you don't pay Devontae Adams, you don't pay Justin Jefferson all that money. Amon-Ra St. Brown, you don't pay him all that money just to be like, all right, go out there and block, guys. Like that's not how that works.
Bro, it's not. And speaking of that, every single one of these players were like, they said the same thing. They want the ball. Like every single one of them was like, we want the ball. It's not in our control if we get the ball, but every single one of them were like, give us the damn ball. We want the ball. The one that didn't say that much was Justin Jefferson, but that's because he's high. He's shy. But the rest were like, we get paid to get the ball. We want the ball. We will do things after we get the ball. We will score, we'll get yards, all that. But they're like, y'all need to understand as fans, it is not our choice on whether we get the ball or not. They're like, chill out. We want the ball. Trust us when we say we want the ball. But it is out of our control. Everything about getting the
I,
ball is out of our control.
I do like them kind of showing that, and I think fans have gotten better about that. I don't think the media has caught up quite yet, but I know me when I was coming up watching football, whenever you'd see a wide receiver on the sideline complaining about not getting catches, it was viewed as a negative thing. But now with like social media and more camera angles, more interviews, athletes being able to speak out, you kind of understand where it's like, dog, we grind our whole life. We grind through practice, through film study, workouts, rehab. Like Justin Jefferson was on the field coughing up blood. Like, of course he wants the ball. Like, I'm out here. Devontae Adams said at one point, he's like, I'm risking my life out here. Throw me the ball. Like, I get it. I understand why you would want the ball because it's like, I'm not out here. I'm like, they're not out there for their health because it's not healthy to be out there. So you might as well throw it to them.
Oh man, but that man was coughing up blood. Justin Jefferson was, he was definitely coughing up blood. Um, but what was I gonna say? Oh my god! You know what? Fuck it. Let's get into injuries real quick. real quick because this is on this note. First of all, these people get their X-rays done right off the field. I was like, we can do X-rays right at our place of employment. Cause what in the world? X-ray room right off the field.
It's
Also,
a $1 billion industry. They're gonna make sure these they
so
gonna they gonna
Devontae
get all that stuff.
had something happen to his shoulder. I think all that stuff. And and they gave homeboy an injection so he did not feel it. One of these people, when he got injured, so he didn't feel it. No, it was George Kittle. They gave him numbing cream, and he didn't feel a thing after like 2 minutes. His injury. I think Debo they gave something to. Amon Ra, they gave him some kind of numbing cream, so he didn't feel it, and all this stuff. And all I have, right? I got a question. Why can't I buy that on the market? Why can't I buy
Because
that kind of numbing
it'll
cream?
probably it'll probably kill the average person. It's
Like,
it's one of the things. It's like I don't know. It's This is an old reference, but like in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, when they grab the
mm-hmm,
like when a normal person grabs the Power Stone, they evaporate. But when Peter Quill grabs it, he's able to hold it because he's like half god. It's like that. Like football players aren't regular
mm,
humans, so you give them stuff that could kill a regular person. It's like, all right, well now my arm just feels better. You get that to a regular person, we're out for like 3 weeks. Like we really don't understand how tough football players are, and I like that they're putting it out there like this to really give people an idea about it because, like you said, football season is starting up and we're going to start
mm-hmm,
seeing tweets and posts when a player gets injured or gets hurt. There's going to be some Joe Smo sitting on the couch talking about, oh, that guy is soft. He can't push through it. He's weak. He's injury prone. And it's like, dog, like if you're listening to this, wherever you work at, imagine what would happen if somebody at your job just fell on the ground. Like how big of a deal it would be to be like, oh my god, like someone help them. So they just fell down on the floor. Like what happened? Do you need a break? Do you need to go home? Like do we need to call an ambulance? And this is just a regular person falling on the ground. Football
mm-hmm,
players go through like getting tackled is like being in a car accident.
mm.
So if you're someone like Justin Jefferson and you get the ball thrown to you 15 times, like what are we doing, guys? Like we really got to watch how we talk about these professional athletes. Like seriously.
Yeah. In my past, I know I've said some things.
Yes, you have.
Shut up. Let me do this. Shh. I've said some things. Mm, I apologize. I'm sorry for saying. I'm sorry for saying the things. Okay, like I didn't know, which is why I like watching this. Like you know that y'all be really going through it like that, like that. I mean, I see it, but like I didn't know how intense it was, and how much of y'all actually play through so much pain, which I still think is dumb in certain aspects, okay? Like Miami quarterback,
Tua.
yes.
Well, see, so I know you don't. A lot of people don't think it's smart for football players to play through injury. It's also not smart to play football. Period. Like it's not smart. But you have to be a different kind of person. Your brain has to be wired in a different way for you to go out there and essentially risk your life for a game. Because I mean, obviously, the money is great, but you know, the average lifespan of a career in the NFL is like 3 years. So it's like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't get that second contract. A lot of people don't get that big contract. So some people will take all them NFL hits and have NFL injuries, but don't have the NFL money or NFL retirement or NFL pension. It's like you just got to be built different. Like, and shows like this kind of show you, because we hear about like, oh, he's got a pulled hamstring, oh, he's got us an AC joint injury, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, what does that really mean? And you kind of see how, the rehab process, all the shots they have to get, the kind of stretching, the physical therapy. It's just like, it's so much stuff that goes into getting these players ready mentally and physically that we just don't understand. And this is kind of the plus side of athletes having a chance to kind of tell their side of the story and
Yeah.
show their side of the story. Because like any journalist could be like, oh well, Justin Jefferson had a hamstring injury. He's going to be out for 3 weeks, even though it's just a hamstring. Like, it's not that serious. But it's like, I don't know if you've ever pulled your hamstring, but I've had a cramp in my leg and I was down for the like 2 days. So I don't know. Like,
I've
I'm not gonna
tugged,
say it.
I've tugged at my hamstring before. Obviously, everyone's had a fucking Charlie horse, but I think that I know people don't want to like. Teams don't want to worry the fans and worry and like get the next team up or the next teams coming up that they're playing like, ooh, he's actually hurt, so let's like attack him so he can get more hurt. Like, I understand that, but it's just like, damn, when they be like, oh, it's a hamstring pull, you're just like, all right, shake it out, stretch it out, it'll be fine. But these injuries, that if you watch receiver, which I encourage every single person to go watch receiver, it's way more than that. Like, they are actually getting injured. Like I think it was Justin Jefferson, or shit, it was one of them. Armand or shit. Amon Ra. One of them, oh, it was Amon Ra. He had an oblique injury, and he was just like, all right, just put some cream on there. I know what an oblique injury is. Put the numbing cream there. I'm good to go. Turns out this man tore his oblique off the bone. Like, he was like, oh no, it's all good. But that shit tore off the damn bone. So he had to sit out for a second, and he was going back in to play the goddamn game. The numbing cream was cool, and he was trying to tough through it, which is cool because you want to be there for your team. And obviously he's on the Lions, so they had a record year last year. Like, they did what they couldn't do in however many years it was, 50 years, something crazy like that. So I get that. And these players want to like Debo Samuel's is injury prone, period. Like, poor guy. Like, I like him, but he's been injury prone, and he's tried to tough through it too. But you can see in this show, like, all that they have to go through, all the rehabbing they have to go through, all the stretching. Like, Debo is hilarious because every time he got stretched out and moved in the massages, he'd be wanting to cussing people out so bad because it hurts so bad. But you got to do what you got to do to take care
Exactly.
of your body. Even George Kittle in the Super Bowl, he had to go out real quick to get numbing cream or an injection in the last, like, in overtime, the last like minute, and then he came back out, feeling good. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I'm speaking for all the women in here. Um, I need somebody in the NFL to tell me and the rest of the women around the world where that numbing cream is, how we can get it, and whatever them shots are that we don't gotta feel nothing. Because Jesus H. Christ, once a month we can use that. Okay? Sorry. fellow men folk who are going to get disgusted by that. But let me tell you, if you want life to be easier with the woman that you are with, or your sister, or your mama, or your daughters, like, we need that numbing cream. You also need to be giving us that numbing cream, trying to help us find where that is. So once a month, we can just slap that on and be good to go. And we're not trying to kill everybody. Okay? All right. That's why I want that numbing cream. Now, the injections, how long do they last? If they last a week, then we could just take the injection and call it a day. But the injection and numbing cream
Yes.
combo, that's probably great. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're probably gonna end up growing a second arm or a third arm doing all that. But like
I would
when you when
take
you
that.
talk when you talked about St. Brown tearing his oblique off the bone,
Bruh.
I've never experienced that, but I know what it's like to bite into like a piece of chicken or a rib and tear the meat off the bone. I couldn't imagine that happening inside of me. Like what are they doing out there? Your
And
your
he was
your
still playing.
the muscle in your where's your oblique at? That's like on your side. You're telling
I
me
don't even know.
the and like the muscle on your side is just hanging off of the bone inside of you, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this. Like, no,
Nah,
no,
I'm gonna
I'm
keep
not gonna keep doing
practicing.
that.
I'm gonna keep
No,
playing. I'm gonna keep getting
no,
hit. I was like,
no,
who is this guy?
hell no, hell no. And then one of the things that I'm surprised I didn't see anything about it, and I'm glad that they showed this part. But there was St. Brown had, I don't think it was his oblique, but he had some kind of he was like banged up or something, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna catch this ball, I'm just gonna go down because I don't want to keep
Yeah,
getting hurt. I don't want to get hurt
yeah.
even more. And I like that they showed that from him, and I like they showed that from Kittle, because Kittle, like you said in the Super Bowl, he was kind of hurting, and he was out there trying to tough it out, but he realized like, dog, I'm not helping the team if I can't catch the ball. Like I need to get this thing looked at. So take me out and we don't really see that from players. Like,
No.
as fans, we're taught that, oh, you need to be a warrior, you need to fight through it, you gotta die on the field. Like the main thing that I was always told growing up is like, oh, these players are tough. I remember back in my day, Ronnie Lott bit his finger off so he could keep playing football. I'm like, oh my God, they're so tough. And this guy and Randy Moss can't play through a torn hamstring, but these guys are soft. It's like, nah, man, these guys they know what it is. Like it's different. These players are bigger and faster and stronger. There's way more money on the line. Like people are dying on the field. Like it's a
Literally.
lot to go. And back then in the Ronnie Lott days, we didn't really have a grasp of this CTE thing. We weren't
Mm-mm.
really seeing, like players, players in their 40s and 50s not being able to walk or be able to stand up straight because of what football did to them. So now we got a little bit more information. So we kind of know, like, hey man, you catch the ball, get as many yards as you can, and get to the ground. Like, you're not soft for doing that. It is what it is.
No, it's really called longevity. Like you
Exactly.
you want to keep playing in this career, longevity. He was like, it was three guys coming at me. I got down. Like, I'm not about to get hit. He was like, I've been getting hit all game.
Yeah,
And then
he's gonna
Netflix
get
was
hit,
like,
but like you're gonna get hit. You can't avoid it because football is football. But there's unnecessary hits, and I
mhm,
mean, there's a thing where it's like, all right, I'm gonna be the tough guy. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna look for contact. I'm gonna try to break every tackle. And if you continue to get hurt and you're unavailable, your general manager is just gonna be like, all right, well, you're either gonna stay here on a discount or we're not gonna pay you.
right.
Like there's a balance, but like people don't understand, like this is their job. It's a job. It's a job. Nobody at your job, you're not gonna go above and beyond if it's gonna cost you a raise or a bonus in the future. You're just not doing it. It's just dumb.
Exactly. Like, you're not gonna do anything stupid to have you on leave for like a year, and then when you come back and work for a week, you're getting fired. Like, come on now. Like, guys, let's be serious here. Speaking of Amon Ra St. Brown, this is mm, I think he was the most interesting to me. Um
By far the most interesting wide receiver on here.
yes, and let me tell you something. I need him to get therapy. I need him
Wait,
therapy.
what?
Mm-hmm. We gonna get into it, okay? So first of all, homeboy is German and black. Okay, he can speak German, and he went to a French immersion school, which means they only speak French. Only speak French, so he knows three languages. All right. His mama is German. His dad is a black man. He was a two-time Mr. Universe. Universe, not America. The whole goddamn universe. Okay. His dad is a fucking menace to society. Okay? His dad is a menace. His dad needs a whole lot of therapy, and he needs therapy. All right, we go. Look now, you know what I'm talking about. Don't be playing with me. Now, you know he needs some therapy. So, look,
Well, here's the thing. I did like his dad. I enjoyed his dad. I thought his dad was a character.
his
The
dad is a
reason why
lunatic.
the reason why I say St. Brown is the most interesting receiver is because of his upbringing and
Yeah,
how, especially his dad and his mom. His mom is pretty. His mom didn't do a lot of talking, but she seems interesting.
because
He
she
gave
can't.
me like his dad gave me vibes of like the Ball brothers dad, Venus and Serena Williams dad, Tiger
No,
Woods
no,
dad. Like
no,
that's the
no,
vibe I
no.
got from him, and it's like, oh, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure my kids are great, and I guarantee you that people looked at him crazy. Like, why do you have a 6 year
See,
old on the bench press? Like, that's insane. But
look here,
I
look
feel
here.
like they could have did a whole Netflix series on just that family thing.
They could have, but his dad is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like his dad is like Joe Jackson. Like he's that on that similar dad scale. Okay. First of all,
Crazy.
that man is a fucking lunatic. Look, don't find me, okay? Don't find me. I'm just saying y'all need therapy. Y'all need some family therapy, okay? Like, all right, let's go from the beginning. They got videos. His dad was like, "We're getting ready for the NFL." He was like 5 years old and had them working out. All his boys working out every single day, including Thanksgiving, no days off. However, comma, he said that he would take them out of school often and go to the beach, work hard, play hard. I guess, whatever. And they're like, "You're going to the NFL." Okay, cool. Since he was a child, when he was on a pee wee football team or whatever, before the age of 10, some little kid had hands on him. Hands. Ooh, he's catching the ball like that. He was like, "Hey, how'd you get yourself to catch the ball like that?" They got one of them little things where the ball just comes at you 200 miles an hour. So he was like, "We gonna get one, and you're gonna catch the ball 202 times every single day. Every single day. Every single day." Now, I understand that discipline and, doing the same thing over and over again can get you great results. But 202 balls just because some kid did 200. All right, bruh. You are a fucking lunatic. Then we gonna go to the draft. Okay? Amon Ra St. Brown was picked round 4, pick 112. This man wrote down on a piece of paper every single wide receiver picked before him. All 16 of them. And before every practice, he reads the names. And before every game of the receivers picked before him. You tell me this man don't need therapy?
I mean, he might need to talk to somebody, but it just
You
goes
need
to
to see
show what
somebody.
it just goes to show like what it takes to make it there. Like
No,
you
it doesn't. Because the other ones, they don't do that. George Kittle doesn't do that. Debo, Devontae Adams, who's the other one? Shit, Justin Jefferson. They don't do that. Like this man
Oh,
is
but okay, but
deeply.
there's a difference though. There's a difference. Debo was, I believe, a first round pick. You know, Justin Jefferson was a top 10 pick. Devontae Adams was a first round pick. George Kittle was a second round pick, and that's high for a tight end. Well, that was high for a tight end back in the day. But like, uh, St. Brown, he was like you said, he was a fourth round pick, and it's like to be a fourth round pick and to make it to being becoming a number one receiver, being a top 10 receiver in the league, it just doesn't happen just by hard work. It's mental. You've got to be crazy. You've got to believe in yourself to a level where it's just like no one else can go there. Like if you ask any of them guys in a at any point, like, hey, who's the best receiver in the NFL right now? They're gonna say themselves, and they're gonna believe it because they have to. You have to believe it, even if it's not true. You have to believe it because if you don't believe it, if you have any kind of doubt, you're not gonna make it. You're just not gonna make.
I
You're not gonna make
understand
it.
that. A lot of the later rounds, they prove themselves, but they're not all like doing that. And
Tom Brady did it. Tom Brady knows every quarterback that was drafted ahead of him.
well, someone on steroids, and I plastic surgery. I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay, and there's the cheating, but all right, whatever. But this guy, he proved himself, and let's just be honest about that list. In college, those players were better than him. Yeah, if we just gonna keep it a stack,
He don't
if
believe
we
that though.
gonna keep it a buck,
You can't believe that.
you know what I'm saying? So it's just
Can't
like,
believe it.
bro, just go out and just prove that you are actually better than them. You just didn't have the opportunity to be on like LSU, Clemson. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, was he at LSU? Shit. One of them was at LSU. I think that was Justin Jefferson. Anyways, he crazy. He need therapy. Dad need therapy. Let's get back into his daddy and why his daddy needs intense therapy and might need to go to them white coat people. Cause let me tell you,
Oh my god.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Excuse me, Mrs. Nurse dating the Saint Brown boy. Let me tell you something. You are one of God's strongest soldiers. Girl, you were one of God's strongest soldiers because you were 16 at your boyfriend's game, and your boyfriend's daddy, whom you've never met before, comes up to you and says, "My son doesn't have girlfriends because girls are dream killers."
To be fair,
Uh
to be
uh-uh.
fair, to be fair, we have seen, and this is non-gender specific, but there have been plenty of stories of where you've seen someone who was on the right path and on the right track to bigger and better things, and then they get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then things just go off the rails. It's like, damn, like what happened to you? And I was like, I was on my way to to law school, and then I got
Mhm,
pregnant at 16 by my
mhm.
first boyfriend, or I was, all that stuff like that. Like it happens. I don't think that was the best way of going about it. Like to tell her that, like let's try
Bruh.
to have a little bit more decorum, a little bit more, be a little bit more classy there in that spot because that is your boyfriend's your son's boyfriend or girlfriend. Jesus, like you don't have to go that far into it. Like you don't got to be that cold, but you know, maybe you do. I don't know.
No, I understand what you were saying, right? I think everybody's been there where they've fallen off the rail because someone comes in their life and then you fall off the rail real quick and then you get back up. Okay, I understand that. You don't even say hi to this girl. That's what you say. And then she was like, "I'm gonna stay with him, even though his daddy is crazy." What is happening? What is going on? I don't understand. I don't understand. Then we get to one touchdown when he's a Lions, playing for the Lions. He scores a touchdown and he proceeds to do this humping, pumping with the genitalia area motion, right? Boom, bam, bam. And she says his crazy ass daddy calls her daddy and goes off saying, your daughter taught him this dance and made him do this dance on the field, which makes her daddy call her and go off on her. And then he called and went off on her. Girl, if you don't run away, ain't no way, no in law. Mind you, he did it on his own. That was all him. My son would never do that. She was like, can you tell your dad you did do that? And he just sitting there like, boy, if you don't get some fucking balls and say it
Speak
was
up.
you,
Speak up.
like, and she's just still with him. And I'm just very confused. Does he ever defend you to his daddy? Like, the man is a lunatic. He is a absolute lunatic. I'm like, you got a lot of nerve. That's what's it. Therapy for everybody. And you see, the mama don't say much because the daddy's a fucking lunatic. He needs to go with them white coat people. He needs to be in a facility with his arms hugging himself. Goodness gracious. Poor guy. I mean, it made you who you are today. And his contract that he signed, I think it was like 70 million guaranteed and like 120 like total,
Nice
but
little
20
contract
million
to say the
guaranteed.
least.
Yeah, it got you there. But girl, if run, can you stop? And the whole time she got popcorn spilled in her hair, and he was like, ha 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 ha. What
he
the
don't
fuck?
he don't like that little high yellow girl.
Bro, he hates her guts, dog. I'm like, he she's been with him since he was 16. They were 16. You hate hate her. And let me tell you something else. They only like him. They only like Amon St. Brown. They have 3 or 4 sons. They only like Armand St. Brown. Did you see when they were playing the Bears?
Yeah, yeah. I was about
They
to say
were,
like they never really showed them
bro.
going to the other kids' games.
No, no, no. Did you see how they were playing? The brothers are playing each other. They were only cheering for the Lions. When they were tied, I think they were
Yeah,
tied. They come on Lions, come on Lions, come on Lions. Their closet only has Lions gear in it. It has no Bears gear in it. And the son plays for the Bear. The other son plays for the Bears. Like what the fuck?
yeah.
Prison.
I I I did notice that. I was like, man, they're kind of like only strictly Lions fans. Like your son plays for the Bears. Like I know there were, when the Kelseys were both in the NFL, you kind of saw their mom at both games.
Mm-hmm.
Wearing the split down jersey. I'm trying to think of another uh, current uh, player or siblings that played in the NFL. I know when the Mannings played, their parents didn't really put on jerseys. They just kind of were just
There.
neutral. But yeah,
Yeah.
but like I've never really if you wouldn't have known, if they wouldn't have told you that, you wouldn't have known that they had another son in the NFL that plays for a different team. Like I didn't notice until
Yo.
they said something.
I was like, that's so fucked up. Like I know the other son's gonna watch back and be like, damn, they didn't even cheer for me. Like
Yeah,
that is
exactly.
wild. Therapy for the whole family. All of them. Intense therapy. Goodness gracious. But dude, I didn't know who your name was before this, okay? I didn't watch the Lions. I did cheer for y'all to go to the Super Bowl. And the Ravens, I think. But the NFL didn't want two black cities to play each other. But I was rooting for y'all. And I was rooting for y'all to win it all because I mean y'all down bad in Detroit. From the mayor stealing everything, letting the city go to shit. Y'all needed something. And I like rooting for the underdogs. I know who you are now, even though, you and your family need therapy, and I am telling your girl to run. I mean, you ain't sticking up for her, so I'm gonna need you to do better. Okay. You got the money now, so you could really cut your daddy out. You know what I'm saying? Like you can cut him off now. You got 70 million. Okay, so you can cut him off until he gets a lot of therapy, and he don't like your girl. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'm
that,
just,
that
I'm
that's
just.
that's pretty obvious. But I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I was not familiar with St. Brown's game until watching
Right,
this Netflix show because I was like I had heard of him. Like I see his numbers every now and again, but I wasn't watching a lot of. I wasn't locked in on the Detroit Lions, so you
right.
know
Nobody was.
this was a kind of like to give him a little bit of a spotlight. So I'll be more aware of what it is that he is doing out there.
Oh yeah, love it. Definitely gonna be following him. A fan of you, not your daddy. Okay. Last but not least, I loved rewatching this team that has George Kittle and Debo Samuel because every I fast forward, when that man that I hate and that I'm gonna punch in the face one day, when he got on the screen, I fast forwarded through his parts because why are you on my TV? Like you almost broke it. Like I almost Superman punched my TV when your face popped up on my TV because why are you here? Nobody's talking to you. We only want to see George Kittle and Debo Samuel. But I very greatly enjoyed seeing him lose the Super Bowl again.
All right, hang on. Okay, so I'll let you cook, but this was the only real complaint I had about this show. Is that they had George Kittle involved in it, and I understand it. Like when he explained it, he was like, as a tight end, we gotta block, we gotta catch the ball, we have to do everything just like receivers do. We gotta, all that stuff. And it's like I understand that, but you could say the same thing about running backs. Running backs have to block. Running backs have to
Mhm.
catch. They didn't put Christian McCaffrey in this, so I would have liked. And I get after watching this, I understand why they put George Kittle on the show because he is a star. Like he has personality. He doesn't
Mhm.
mind talking. He loves being in front of the camera. So yeah, I get that. And I just don't feel like there was a lack of personality when it comes to wide receivers that they needed to add a tight end because I don't think that they're going to keep doing this series.
Right.
And I at some point they're going to do tight ends, I believe. Travis Kelsey is obviously a front runner. George Kittle is a front runner. Uh, I'd put like try to get a young guy like maybe like Brock Bowers or somebody on there. So I just feel like if they do a series with just tight ends, I don't know if you can like. uh, I feel like they wasted the George Kittle stuff. They could have just saved that for when they did, tight ends. Like, are they lacking? Is the NFL lacking in diva wide receivers? Like, is there
I
just not
don't
enough?
think so.
There's not enough personalities at wide receiver in this league anymore. Like, come on, guys. Like Jamar Chase is right there. Call him. What is he doing?
Yeah, I thought that was weird too because I'm like, okay, we went from quarterback. Now we got a tight end with the wide receivers. We're not going to do a tight ends next. And then a running backs. And then a kicker is like, we're just not going to go through all the positions. I was just like, what? Because I think on quarterback, they only have four. They were only following four. So why didn't they just follow four on here? It was either three or four. It was three. So they did three on quarterback Mahomes, Cousins, and Mariota. So I'm just like, y'all could have stuck with just the four that you had. Why did you need Kittle?
It just felt a little bit excessive because it's like you got St. Brown, who's the underdog, fourth round pick, kind of fighting for his spot to be,
Mhm.
mentioned among the greats. You got Devontae Adams, who's kind of the vet, who's been doing it for a very long time, that is still great at it. You got Debo, who's kind of the Swiss Army knife, where he catches the ball and he runs the ball, so he does a little bit of everything, gadget kind of player. And then you got Justin Jefferson, who's like the star, the best receiver in the league, about to make a bunch of money. And then it's like, okay, well, let's put George Kittle in there. It's like, we didn't really need that. You could have easily put in, you could have put, if you wanted to do teammates, put Brandon Ayuk on there. Like he's right, he's in the same huddle with you. Put him in the show. Like if you needed to fill in more bodies, or if you need more personality, like I said, you can tell George Kittle Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson were teammates. There's a storyline there, and they played each other that year. That's a built-in storyline that you easily could have had. So and I don't want this to come off as like I disliked watching George Kittle because I every time he popped on the screen, I was like, hell yeah, I like this guy. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was very interested in what he was doing and how he played and how he got down, like everything. I love watching George Kittle, but somewhere down the line they're gonna want to do a tight end show, and it's like, well, we already had George Kittle on receivers,
Right.
like yeah, I don't know.
I think I put it together while you were talking, as to why George Kittle was on the show. Okay. So I need you to figure out, okay, what these receivers have in common. Okay. There's one thing they all have in common: Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, Debo, and Raw St. Brown. What is the one thing they have in common? Besides being a wide
Uh,
receiver.
yeah, I was gonna say that.
One.
I was gonna say they all have kids, but St. Brown
No,
does
no,
not
no.
have kids. They are
The
all in relationships.
uh-uh.
Nah, well, Justin Jefferson, they didn't show he didn't have a girlfriend, so
If
I don't know.
look at the back of your hand.
All right.
Oh, I figured it out. And so since it was too much, okay. And if you got it, you got it. If you didn't, you didn't. So they
Okay,
had to have
okay.
George
No, you know
Kittle.
what? You know what? No, I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you that.
You are gonna give me
The only reason I'm
yes.
not giving you that, the only reason I'm not giving you that is because
Why?
all you have to do is go to Hollywood, Cooper Cup, Puka Nakua. There's two guys right there.
What if
Like,
Cooper Cup turned it down?
well, okay, to be fair, like we didn't know what Puka was back then. Like he was coming into the league, so they didn't know.
Hmm.
Cooper Cup, I think they if you can get, I don't understand why he would turn it down.
There's a not everybody wants a camera to follow them all the time.
Oh, he's in LA. You should be used to it.
He has no choice but to be stalked by the paparazzi and stuff because he's in LA. But not everybody wants a camera following them around 24/7 and stuff. Just saying.
Do, do you think they do this for free? Do you think they get paid? Because I'm not sure.
I do they get paid? What? Let's see what Google
I,
says.
I would not be surprised if they did that. If they do that for free, honestly. But like, there's a part of me that's like, nah, they should get paid for that. Because like, you're coming to my house, you're talking to
Right.
my wife and my kid. Like, nah, I gotta get something out of this. I mean, obviously, you're getting a lot of exposure because one of the biggest streaming services ever. So like, for me, like I didn't really know about St. Brown until this. So it's a little bit more exposure for you. But like, I can't pay my bills with exposure.
And if you're like, if your personality is good, and if they like you, they'll probably, hit you with more endorsements on it. Let's see. Did they get paid? Did they get paid? I don't care about their contracts.
I
Did
don't
they
think
get paid on the show?
I don't think Google's gonna have that answer for you. I don't think they're gonna make that one public. But like I think they could have gotten Cooper Cup though. Like I think if you go to Cooper Cup and you're like, hey, we got Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, and Debo Samuels on our show. Do you want to be on the show with them? Like we're basically saying that you're one of them. You're on par with these guys. We want to see what you do. I just don't see a scenario where he's like, you know what? Nah, I don't want to be put in that conversation with those elite wide receivers, even though I'm an elite wide receiver too, and I get a lot of passes and I get a lot of yards and score a lot of touchdowns. Like I don't see him turning that down. I don't. But I see your point though. I do get it. I do get it now.
Yeah, you don't like being on camera, then you just don't want that extra pressure of being followed, all season long and mic'd up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's might once when you gotta be bullied into being mic'd up by the NFL because that's what you get paid to do. But when you fucking, it's like, okay, it's Netflix and they gotta mic me up and then follow me in all my interpersonal workings of my fucking life. Like they're going to these people's houses You know what I'm saying? If you don't want that shit, you don't gotta go. So back to these. Okay, let me just say this. Okay, as much as I enjoy and relish and jerk off to Kyle Shanahan losing Super Bowls, I really feel bad for these players because it's not you, it's him. Okay, they're like, oh, we're gonna get back here. Like Kittle, they showed the losses before. He was like, I'm gonna get back here. I'm gonna get back here. I'm gonna get fucking back here. I'm gonna win. I'm getting fucking back here. I'm gonna win. And I was
No, no,
like,
no, no,
damn.
no. That was that stood out to me. George Kittle. This is on Kittle, because
What? It's on Kittle.
when they showed the previous Super Bowl, when he realized, like, all right, we're losing this game, we're not gonna win. He said, I'm gonna be back here with a vengeance. I'm gonna be back here with a vengeance. He never said they were gonna be back there and win. He needs to say we're gonna get back and we're gonna win. This is George Kittle's fault. I'm sorry.
No,
You
you're
got to be more.
not because
You got
as
to be more specific, big dog.
no, because as long as you have Kyle Shanahan at the helm or in the building, you're gonna lose. That's point blank. Period. Like I don't know why I keep having to explain this to you. Kyle Shanahan is a curse. He needs to go with Desmond Ritter, and they need a DoorDash. Okay, they need a DoorDash together. Kyle Shanahan is a curse. Okay, so George Kittle. First of all, I didn't even know the man had this much personality. Now, I know never judge a book by its cover, but I really thoroughly enjoyed George Kittle. He's known his wife since college. She played the sports too. She was a basketball player at Iowa. He played football at Iowa. What they met because she had a moped or something, and he said something to her.
Yeah,
He, mm-hmm. But they've known each other since then forever. Like if they didn't show that she played basketball, I would have thought she was just a pure diva. Honestly, I didn't know she was a whole. She knew about the sports. I thought she was just a pure diva. So that was nice to see. And she knows, hey, we gotta recharge after games. She knows what to do. Like they are in sync. Like she's like, she knows what he needs, anticipates his needs. Like it's great, like Frosted Flakes. I love them two together. They better not hurt each other and be really upset. Like I don't do couple
yeah,
goals, but they were cute together. Okay.
yeah. They were really
And
nice. I enjoyed seeing both of them, but it does go to show, like, what it takes to just get through the day. Some days where it's just like, some days you just have some days you have a rough day, and then it's like they have a rough day and they can't walk. They have a rough
Mhm.
day and they can't. They got blood coming out of their lungs, or they got a meat hanging off the bone in their ribs. And it's just like you need that support system, whether it be a girlfriend, a wife, your family, friends. Like you've got it.
Mhm.
Like I always wonder why they always have like so many people around them and with them and at the house. It's like you never know, man. Like not to bring the mood down, but Demarius Thomas, former NFL receiver,
Mhm.
um, he died in his house at like, he was like 28, not 28, but he was like early 30s, and he just died in his house by himself because he had seizures.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he, like, I don't know if he had seizures before he played in the NFL, but that, like, all that stuff kind of adds up, man. It adds up. So it's like you got to have a support system. You got to have people that are around you. You can't I don't think that you can make it that far and be isolated. I just don't think that's possible.
You can't. And nobody knows like what you really go through except for the people around you. Now, not the leeches, of course, but he had his family. His family went to every game. She went to every game. They have a whole party bus with Kittle half naked on the outside of it, which I thought was awesome because, yeah, promote the hell out of yourself. And she would be like, all right, he had a rough game. It's bye week. We're going to go. She already booked. Boom. We're going to wherever they went off the cliffs. He needs to recharge. Like she had everything down packed. Anything she anticipated was like, all right, I know he needs boom. And I loved how he discussed the importance of taking care of your body, of recharging, of centering yourself and all that stuff. Now he was real woo woo. He was real with the woo woo stuff. All right. I was like, this is a lot of woo woo. And I didn't even know white people was into woo woo like that. But he's in a woo woo like that. But he was real like grounding. He was speaking affirmations and life into himself. Again, this is the first white person I've ever seen who do be doing shit like that. You know? I was like, oh, okay. Especially a white man. But
Yeah,
he is really, I'm taking
a
care of
white
myself.
a white man from Iowa.
Look, hello? I was like, what? I like it. You're very woo woo, but I'm here for it. I'm like, you know what? I need to start writing down positive affirmations for myself and putting it around for me to repeat too, because shit, this man was doing the damn thing. And he had some like spiritual guide or something. I don't know. They was all huddled as a family. Now that one, I was like, I ain't doing all that. When they was huddled as a family and they was like speaking something, speaking existence into the future or something. But
Yep,
I fucked with him, and he was funny, and he loved his team.
and he loves football. He loves all
And
that stuff.
loves football, wants the ball. He'd be like, there was one game. Okay, I ain't gonna give that man credit, but there was one game where a lot of players touched the ball, and he was like, it's my turn for a touchdown. Okay, it's my turn. Throw me the ball for a touchdown, and he got the touchdown. And then he literally pointed to someone. He was like, "You're next for a touchdown." And the next the next drive, the dude he pointed to went out and got a touchdown. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That man is good at his job, man. He's good at his job.
"Wait, shut up."
But
Okay, shut up. I'm the woo woo did it. That's my story, and the woo woo that George Kittle did. That's what happened. That's why that happened. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, Debo, first of all, this man is built forward tough. This man is built like a running back. I never knew how big this man was because I haven't paid attention to nobody but the Falcons in the last couple years. That man is huge. He's built like a fucking running back. And he can do everything. Everything, everything. He can block. He can be a running back. He can be a wideout. He can be a wide receiver. That man can play defense. Like, he wasn't playing defense on the show,
I bet he
but
could actually. He probably could.
but he is so big. I'm like, that man is huge. He's got the cutest little baby on the planet. Now I was mad when I didn't see the baby. When I was like, "Where's the baby?" Every time he came on screen, I was like, "Where is the baby? You cool and all, but where's your baby? Bring the baby back out." Most adorable baby. I don't know if that's his girlfriend because they kept saying,
Yeah, I saw that too.
"Yeah, yeah."
They kept saying, well, I can't remember the kid's mom or the kid's name, but it was like, oh, this is Tyson's mom. I was like,
Right.
oh,
I was
because
like,
like with Saint Brown, they're like Saint Brown's girlfriend.
mm-hmm.
With Devontae Adams' wife, and then with her it was like Tyson's mom, and I'm like,
I was
oh
like,
man,
ah,
but
what is
she can't get the
happening?
girl, she can't get the girlfriend tag at least. Like, damn.
Mm-mm. I'm like, but you kissing her? But no, no. Okay.
You can't kiss your baby mama no more. Like, come on.
What hush? You already know. Shit, if you're gonna be kissing on the screen, you might as well. I mean, everybody's relationships are different. He could be into like the polyamorous thing, and she's just
Here
like the
you go.
main, or they just
Oh,
could be open, like, I'm gonna do my thing, you gonna do my thing. He kept speaking about his family, and she's always there, always at the games and stuff with the baby, and we've seen and heard about the NFL wives and like what it means and stuff, and the NFL girlfriends, like it's a whole clique because the mistresses be there too, and the girlfriends be there. You better respect the mistress, the girlfriend's wife, whatever, all that stuff. It's a thing, apparently, from what I've learned. But oh my god, his son was so adorable. And he started playing harder for his son. They call it dad strength. All his teammates said so. But unfortunately, he's just injury prone. Mans was just getting his ass beat up. And I'm like, for someone so big, you getting real beat up. Like,
I think it's just he has to do so much. He's got to do everything. Apparently, like he's got to like it for someone like Justin Jefferson and Devontae Adams, they go off for a pass. Maybe they might get hit by a linebacker. They're never getting hit by a defensive lineman. Debo, there's a chance when he's running the ball up the middle that he can get knocked out by, a defensive tackle or defensive end. So he's getting, yeah, he is bigger, but he's getting hit by, you know, bigger people, and he's doing a lot more. And you really don't see the importance of Debo and what he does until he's not there, because it's like, bro, you got George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk is a really good receiver, and you lose Debo Samuel on the team. Just you can't do anything. Like that's a credit to Debo, because like I remember a few years back, he had like his contract came up,
mhm,
and you know his back to the Devonta Adams thing, where it's like your stats as a wide receiver don't really command wide receiver, like top wide receiver money, because you're not getting 100 catches, you're not getting 1,500 yards, and it's like, well, I'm not doing that, but I'm running the ball. I'm getting 500 rushing yards. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting a lot of carries. So obviously, I'm not going to be able to get 100 catches, and like I'm doing more work. Like obviously, my receiving stats are going down, but my production overall is going up. So I should get paid like it. You can't just look at my wide receiver stats and try to pay me based off of that. Like look at everything that I do. Look at and George Kittle also mentioned that. He was like, I might not catch 5 balls a game and get 100 yards a game, but when I'm on the field, our running game is way better than when I'm off the
mhm.
field, and I should be paid for that also. So, like I said, it's every little thing matters out there.
Yeah, and they showed that he's a great blocker. Also, real quick, um, you said it speaks to Debo. And you got to give credit to Debo because when he's out there, they do better. But you also have to admit that somebody doesn't have enough plays in their playbook because they keep relying on certain people. So they don't have a versatile playbook to call different plays because they suck ass. Okay. Anyways,
I'm gonna let you go ahead.
uh, what? So Debo, I'm glad that he his contract, when you brought up his contract, I looked it up. Um because he injury prone, but he in 2002 per Kevin Patra, sorry if I said your name wrong. He actually just wrote this article on NFL.com, said that Samuel Debo asked for a trade when talks didn't appear to go his way in 2002. He staged an in hold a hold in during training camp before ultimately agreeing to 3-year $73.5 million contract, which is smart because homeboy got all these goddamn injuries going on. And I'm also very happy that they showed them every. I don't think they showed Justin Jefferson, but they showed every receiver blocking when they block, and help with that because the game moves so fast for me, and I'm trying to look to see where the fucking ball is going and not really looking at anything else. I'm trying to train my eyes to do better at seeing everything else going on, besides just seeing where the fuck the ball is going when they play offense during the whole game. But I'm glad they slowed that down so we could see. So if anyone that's out here has not watched receiver, please watch it because you can see how much more these players do than just catch, like the wide receivers and the tight ends. Like we know they block, but like how many of us fans have the eye to see like that they're blocking or when they're blocking versus trying to figure out where the fuck the ball is going. It's not many of us unless we play football.
Yeah, I think it might have been Debo or Brandon Ayuk on a long like if there's a long running play, those plays don't happen if your wide receivers don't block.
Hmm.
Like you can have the best offensive lineman in the world, and they could block the greatest and create the biggest hole. But like if you want to break a long one, you got to have a wide receiver that's going to block that safety, that's going to block that corner for 50 yards because those guys are fast, and you got to keep up and get a hand on them. Like you're not, those long runs don't happen without wide receivers that block. So you got to give these wide receivers all their credit and all their dues. So
Yes, and that is very important. And I apologize to one other person. I'm tired of apologizing. This is fucking ridiculous. Um, I'm sorry to the tight end that we signed from the 49ers. And sorry for saying you didn't deserve $12 million. Um, because I was like, he don't have any stats. Like, what are we supposed to do with him? And people are like, oh, he's gonna be a blocking tight end. Well, also after watching receiver and George Kittle is a tight end, and that dude only got to play what those 2 minutes in the Super Bowl for the whole time he was out there. He only actually got some action then. The rest of the time he's just literally blocking. I'm sorry, my bad, dog. I'm not familiar. I don't be watching the 49ers like that unless we play them because fuck that man. I didn't understand and realize it's cuz George Kittle, I knew he was on the team, but I didn't know he played like every fucking snap. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't even get an opportunity to go out there and get the ball thrown to you. So, my bad. My bad. Um I'm now educated and familiar now. So that's my apology. I ain't doing no more fucking apologies for the rest of the year. Okay? All right.
god damn.
I'm done. I'm over it. I apologized like 3 times on it in the last time, all this time we've been here. I don't like it. Damn. But that's all my takes, I think.
Is there a position that you want to see them do next?
Ooh. I think we should go to defense and we should go to the trenches. Cause I really want to get educated on the trenches and the defenses. Defensive trenches. Like I want to see what y'all have to go through every time and what that's really like. Like I'm imagining it's similar. Okay, and this before I say this, it's only because I've been on YouTube and I've been watching sumo wrestlers. Okay, and I'm imagining it's like that, right? In the trenches, that you're literally like having to push each other back and forth, similar to sumo wrestlers. I am not saying y'all are fat or anything like that. I'm just saying how, you gotta like fucking try to get people and push them out the way, you know. I'm imagining it's like that, but I want to know what y'all actually be going through in the trenches. Yep. So on the defensive line, I want them next. Yep. And how hard it is, because I know it's way harder than um people assume it is. That's what I'm there for next. What do you want next? What
Yeah, if
position?
I had to pick for like if I'm going for the best TV and looking for like entertainment and personality, I'm looking for a cornerback. I want to see corners. Like
I can
someone like
see.
Sauce Garner. Like Sauce Garner would be one I'd like to see. I'd like to see the kid the rookie that just got drafted, Cooper DeJean, like the first white
Mm.
cornerback in like 20 years. Like
Dog.
I would like to see them go to the cornerback. Um, the one that I the one that I'm curious to see if they do is running backs because I feel like we're gonna see how running backs live and how they get down. They're gonna like, and we're gonna be like, wow, like you guys should get paid way more than what you guys are getting paid because y'all do a lot, y'all go through a lot. Y'all are replaceable, like y'all are the most replaceable position. So
Yeah.
I would like to see for entertainment purposes. I think
Hmm.
cornerback would be the best choice, but I think the realist um, position would be running backs.
Running backs is my second option. See, the defensive line, that's my educational option, because, I just want to learn about that. But my second option after that was running backs because, like everything you said, plus they have the shortest lifespan. And it's just like, how do your knees really feel after doing all that running? And if you do running backs, Peyton Manning, because this is what is it produced in? I think Peyton Manning is like over the whole shebang.
Yeah,
Um,
Omaha Productions.
Omaha, it is Omaha Productions. Oh my god. A player I don't want to see on here. That's a running back. And Falcons fans, please don't be mad at me. But you have to admit he is a great player, but he is also boring. But John Robinson, I don't, I don't want to see him on my TV. I don't.
That is hate. That is hate. That
It's
is
not hate.
hate.
It's not. Have you seen? Have you seen? It's not giving entertainment. It's giving church camp. It's giving
Yikes.
church
Yikes.
camp.
Church camp is
Um
crazy.
church camp, like like when you go to church camp. Okay, if y'all haven't been to church camp ever as kids, when you go, there's always like the older kids, and they're like you're like guidance person, and you break out into teams, and you're with the older kid, right? He's the older kid that's like, yeah, guys, we're gonna have so much fun at church camp. Yay, church camp. We're gonna do all these activities, and we're gonna praise the Lord. Like, that's what he gives. Look, I like you. I really like you as a player. It's just like you just give church, like, go to the Marcus, go to the Falcons social media pages and look at every time he's on the screen. Every time he pops up, and please tell me I'm lying. I want you to tell me I'm lying. I will cash up you $1 if I'm lying about him not being a church camp. I don't person. Like, for
I
real.
will give it I will give it a shot. I will at some point I will go through the Falcons social media and see what Bijan Robinson is about.
It's just giving. It's like, mm, it's really giving mustard. And he sells mustard, and I still have not bought his mustard. I need to buy his mustard. Um, but it's giving, like he really embodies that condiment, mustard. Like, you put it on, and it just gives that extra oomph, and that's when he plays. It's the razzle dazzle when he's playing, but when he's not, you just you can deal without mustard. So yeah. Anyways, that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
I got nothing. I appreciate you letting me on and get off these takes.
Duh. I appreciate you coming on, and we back, and a nigga can talk again without coughing every 5 minutes, cause COVID was bitch. Y'all try not to catch that shit. I don't want it, and my lungs still have not fully recovered. So y'all please be safe from that motherfucker. Um, what else I want to say? Oh, y'all make sure to subscribe and tune in KTSC Av. Make sure you follow Marcus on all his social medias and his YouTube. Have you made 400 subscribers yet? I think you did.
Have I reached what?
400 subscribers.
I did. I did do
Ha.
that. Yep.
Okay, let's give him a 5. We got to do
Let's
5.
go.
It's up and it's stuck. You can follow me on TikTok while it's still here. Please let it still be here forever at Lethal Eats ATL. That's also my YouTube. I need to get a new laptop because it's out of storage, and I've had this shit for like a decade. And so once that is done, I'm gonna start posting YouTube videos on there. I'm gonna try to do it for my phone. My phone is also out of storage, y'all. Like I'm broken over here. I need to upgrade my phone because it's like you can't download any more apps. So yeah, that's where we are in life. So follow all that. Follow the page. Football season. We're back, baby. Oh, and make sure y'all do y'all's homework on the Pivot podcast. Raheem Morris was on there. And so that's what I want to discuss next, along with I think training camp will end around the same time. I want to get into that discussion. I have to finish it. I've been watching the Olympics at work. Shout out to Simone Biles, and all the USA Olympic champions out there and the people. They've been kicking ass. Simone did her thing. That Brazilian girl also did her thing in the Olympics. Like I was scared she was gonna beat her, but she didn't. But yes, do your homework. Watch that interview. The Pivot podcast. Raheem Morris was on there. He gets into a lot and in depth about Atlanta, being a coach, what it was like to be fired and rehired. So that was a little juicy. But I fuck with the man. So he cool. So yeah, we'll discuss that next. And we're happy football's back. And Marcus is happy to be a Falcons fan as usual. And on that note, we out of here. Oh, and like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thanks.